This is part 4 in a series that I've entitled Enjoy the Gift. And this morning I want to look at Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 and 29. I absolutely love these verses. I've talked about these verses numerous times here, and I think in some sense they really sum up what we hope people experience if they are a part of the sanctuary. So Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 and 29, it says, "Then Jesus said, 'Come to me, all of you who are weary and who carry heavy burdens, and I will give you a lot of stuff to do.'" That's not what it says. "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your weary souls." So, as I've said each week during this series, my favorite way to describe life with God is simply enjoy the gift. Enjoy His unconditional love. Enjoy His amazing grace. Enjoy His ruthless mercy. Enjoy His scandalous forgiveness that keeps no record of your wrongs, past, present, or future. Enjoy the fact that the sins you can't forget, God doesn't even remember. Enjoy that. Revel in that. No need to repay Him. No need to work for His blessings. God's goodness cannot be bought with your sacrifices. So the idea that if we work harder, sacrifice more, do more so that we can get God's blessings, false. Enjoy the gift. God's love is not a bargain struck. It is a gift given, pure and simple. It cannot be forfeited by your badness, and it cannot be enhanced by your goodness. So just enjoy it. When we think about life with God in any other way than how I just described, it causes profound anxiety. I deal with people on a weekly basis who are anxious, stressed. They feel the pressure when it comes to life with God because they've heard something different than this. Am I doing enough? Am I becoming enough? Have I given enough, loved enough, been good enough? That mentality turns a relationship that is meant to be enjoyed into a religion of proving your worthiness, which, if you think about it, is terribly and ridiculously narcissistic. I mean, we justify our spiritualized navel-gazing by thinking this is what God wants us to be doing. He wants us to be focused on ourselves. How am I doing? Am I getting better? Am I performing enough? We think that's what God wants us to be doing. But it's not. He doesn't want your sweat. He wants you to simply enjoy the gift. Enjoy it. The constant pressure to improve keeps me trapped in a cycle of stress. I start to overanalyze every action. I overanalyze every thought. I become paralyzed by fear and guilt. I mean, it's exhausting, and it's not supposed to be that way. So don't complicate it. No guilt, no earning, no striving. I had 2 conversations this week with 2 different people, and both of them were saying that often when they're around Christians or they hear sermons, they start to feel anxious and insecure. They feel the pressure to be more, to do more. And these people were clearly stressed. One of them was contemplating walking away from God altogether because the way God was presented to him was that God was just this taskmaster who was constantly pushing you, driving you, forcing you to strive, to become better, to become cleaner. And so I said to both of them, I said, listen, truth sets us free. That's clear. The truth will set you free. Truth sets us free. So if hearing sermons or being around Christians makes you burdened, it's not the truth that was served. It's not. Lots of people walk out of lots of churches every Sunday or every weekend feeling the burden to do more, the pressure to try harder, to become a better Christian, to become a better person. And regardless of what was said or what was communicated, if you don't walk out of here feeling relieved, unburdened, able to exhale, you haven't heard the truth. Truth sets you free. It unburdens you. So, what are you going to do now that you don't have to do anything? Enjoy the gift. It's all God wants. It's all God expects. And we've looked at what it means to enjoy your freedom. We've looked at what it means to enjoy your forgiveness. And we've looked at what it means to enjoy the love, to enjoy God's unconditional love. This week I want to look at enjoying the rest. In our culture, as you know, rest is hard to come by. I mean, we're all tired, but for some reason we all resist rest. All of us do. When we hear the word workaholic, we typically think of the corporate suit who spends 90 hours a week at the office. We think of unbalanced people who can't enjoy life because they're so obsessed by their careers. And since that may not describe us, we think we're not guilty of workaholism. But workaholism is much deeper than that, and it affects all of us, whether you realize it or not. In an article that was published a while back in the Huffington Post entitled "Busyness is a Sickness," Scott Danmiller wrote this, and he's right. In America, we are defined by what we do. Our careers, what we produce. It's the first question asked at parties, and often the first bit of information we share with strangers. The implication is that if I'm not busy doing something, I am somehow less than, not worthy, or at least worth less than those who are producing at a high rate. The word busy has taken on a life of its own. It's like become a badge of honor. I mean, busyness is a competitive sport these days. Who is the busiest? Who's doing the most? At work, being overwhelmed is often seen as a sign of dedication and worth. Hilarious Seinfeld episode about that, by the way, but we won't get into that. And those who find time for rest are typically seen as lazy or unambitious. We fill our schedules with endless activities, extracurricular commitments, and hobbies, all to maximize our output and to demonstrate our worthiness, to be all that we can be. Rest is looked down on in our society. However much we may complain about our overbooked schedules, exhaustion has become a symbol of righteousness. The more you do, the more you work, the more you produce, the more righteous you are. That's the way our culture looks at it. So much so that there is a level of shame attached to rest. To take a break is unrighteous. And yet, rest is exactly what Jesus came to give us. He must have known we need it. The rest that he's talking about, not just in these verses, but wherever he talks about rest in the Gospels, is not the ceasing of all activity, avoiding work, ignoring responsibilities. That's not the rest that he's talking about. It's a deeper rest. It's an internal rest. It's a rest in our lives, not necessarily a rest from our lives. It's rest from trying to earn your way into God's love. It's rest from trying to work your way into God's favor. It's rest from trying to get God's blessings by doing all the right things. Christians are some of the most stressed out people on planet Earth for this reason. It's rest from trying to secure your own sense of worth by what you do and by who you can become, how you're improving, how you're progressing. It's rest from having to get it all right. It's rest from perfectionism. It's rest from people pleasing. It's rest from the pressure to meet everyone's expectations. It's rest from feeling like you have to succeed, from feeling like you need people to think that you're smart or beautiful or talented. It's rest from feeling the pressure to fix yourself. It's rest from feeling like you have to change people. Rest from needing to be the person that everybody wants you to be, that everybody expects you to be. It's rest from the fear of failure. What if I don't become all that I ought to be? What if I let people down? What if people see that I'm not as strong as I want them to think I am? Fear of failure. It's rest from the fear of rejection, hoping that no one sees our flaws. Photoshopping our flaws so that we'll be accepted and approved by the people around us. Rest from needing to always be strong, like you always need to be ahead. You always need to be on top of things, always. It's rest from comparison, from the paralyzing fear of being less than or not good enough. That's the kind of rest that Jesus promises. Rest from the constant need for validation. Constant. That is a deep human thirst. The thirst to be validated. The thirst to be justified. You don't have to succeed at everything or gain the approval of everyone around you. If you get defensive every time you're corrected, you're not at rest. Okay, just in case you may be sitting there thinking, I'm pretty much at rest, get ready. Okay, I'm about to prove that you're not. Okay, I'm not. None of us are. To the degree that God wants us to be. If you get defensive every time you're corrected, you're not at rest. Can anybody relate to that? Somebody corrects you, defenses immediately go up. Immediately. Why? Why do the defenses immediately go up? Why? I have to be right. I have to win this moment. I have to prove to this person that I'm smart, that I'm talented. If you have a hard time admitting you're wrong, you're not at rest. If you can't lose an argument without feeling worthless, you're not at rest. If you have to be right to feel important or valuable, you're not at rest. If being around someone smarter than you, prettier than you, stronger than you makes you feel insecure, you're not at rest. Restlessness plagues us all in big ways and subtle ways. The reason we have such a hard time humorously embracing our insecurities and weaknesses is because they make us feel less valuable. They make us feel less important, less strong. That's why we get defensive. And that proves that we are anchoring our identity in the appearance of being smart or strong or right. We have to be smarter. We have to be stronger. We have to be more right. We have to be more talented, or else I feel worthless. Our identity is banking on these things. So I was thinking about this yesterday because I struggle with this stuff. Who doesn't? And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was trying to think of people that I've known over the years who I would describe as being at rest. Typically, these are people with a great sense of humor. They easily make fun of themselves. They're not slow to admit when they're wrong. They're quick to encourage other people and to support other people without fear that the spotlight might be taken off them. I mean, these are the people that I've known over the years that are the most at rest. They have this deep inner peace. They smile a lot. These are people who do not take themselves too seriously. My grandmother used to say, it's important to take God seriously, and it's equally important never to take yourself too seriously. It's true. Who are the people that are most at rest? The people who laugh, the people who can smile, the people who don't take themselves too seriously, the people who aren't always defensive, the people who can easily and quickly admit when they're wrong or go, you know what, you're right. I didn't think about that. You're right. I stand corrected. Those are the people who are at rest. The most at rest person in the room is the one who doesn't have to be most right, the strongest, the smartest, the most talented, the best looking in order to feel important. That's the person who's at most rest in the room. So Jesus says, essentially in these verses, come to me if you are tired of the performance treadmill. Come to me if you're tired of feeling like you have to keep up appearances. Come to me if you're tired of feeling like you're a less than, tired of having to prove yourself, tired of being afraid, tired of trying to make it on your own, tired of searching but never finding, tired of climbing, tired of solutions that make your emptiness emptier. And I will give you rest, the deep kind, not the superficial kind. Not simply the take a nap and sit on the beach kind, although that's two beautiful things, okay? But the rest he is presenting, the rest that he says we have is deeper than that. That's the kind of rest that allows you to step back, not have to do everything, to embrace your weaknesses, to acknowledge your flaws, to breathe deeply, and to know that you are loved and approved by the one who matters most. No strings attached whatsoever. So, life with God is ultimately supposed to be restful, not stressful, ultimately. Life with God is meant to be free, not fragile. People who are not at rest are extremely fragile. Now, there is a sense, of course, in which we are all incredibly fragile. We're much more fragile than we like to think we are. I get that. But you know the kind of fragility I'm talking about. The person who can never laugh at themselves, the person who takes themselves far too seriously, the person who always has to be right, the person who always gets defensive, the person who cannot laugh at their insecurities, the person who can't make fun of their disproportionately skinny legs, okay? Those are the kind of people. I don't know anybody like that, but the people who can't laugh at that stuff, okay? The people who can't make fun of themselves. The people who hate sarcasm, you know? I mean, I've said this for years, but sarcasm is a Tchividjian love language. And the guys are a little bit better at this than the girls for probably some obvious reasons, and I understand that sarcasm can go off the deep end and you hurt people. I get all that, okay? You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the extreme cases. I'm talking about the people who can laugh at themselves, who can embrace their weaknesses, who can admit their flaws, the people who don't always have to be right, the people who are quick to acknowledge the talent in the room that overshadows theirs. The beauty in the room that overshadows theirs. The strength in the room that overshadows theirs. The success in the room that overshadows theirs. The people who don't always have to be front and center, be at the top, be in front. Those are the kinds of people that God wants, that experience the rest that God wants us to experience. I mean, life with God is meant to be strong, steady, and rooted in something far bigger than your ability to perform. When you stop overthinking every decision, every step, every outcome, you finally start living restfully. I mean, life with God is rest in the middle of the rush. With God, you can breathe in the middle of the madness. And listen, this rest isn't about escaping reality. Some people think that's what rest is, an escape from reality. If I can just get out of this relationship or get out of this job or get away from these people or whatever the case may be, I will experience rest. But rest isn't about escaping the hard things. It's not about escaping reality. It's about engaging it with less fear and anxiety. It's the freedom to laugh, to dance, to create, to take risks, and to love without the pressure to be perfect. Doesn't that sound good? I mean, as I was thinking about this stuff yesterday, I thought, man, this sounds so nice. This sounds so restful. And in thinking about these things, I realized how not at rest I am. Not just, I used to be a person not at rest, but now I'm a person at rest. No, I'm not a person at rest now because of these things. Preaching is not a hard thing to do. I mean, I know that public speaking is a fear greater than drowning, apparently, when the surveys are taken. That's not what I'm talking about. I know that there is fear involved with that. I've been doing it so long, I don't have that fear. But preaching is really not that difficult. All you have to do, honestly, is take an honest, deep dive into your own insecurities, your own flaws, your own weaknesses. Be honest about those things, and then look for the ways in which God's grace meets us there. And then just get up and tell people about that stuff. Literally. I mean, this is, in one sense, yes, I'm here to help you think through these things and wrestle with yourself and hopefully develop a deeper self-awareness as a result. But this is really an elongated confession of sin, Sunday after Sunday, on my part. It's not a confession of things I've done, although I do confess those things. It's about the inner struggle that plagues me now, here. I've said this before, but one of the reasons that I work so hard to prepare sermons and preach them is because at some level, I need you to think that I'm a good preacher if I'm going to feel like I matter. I mean, that sounds so ridiculous, but it's true. And even though you may not be a preacher, that's true for you too. Behind and underneath so much of what we do and so many of the things we pursue is this hunger, this thirst for approval, for validation, because it makes us feel important. It makes us feel worthy. It makes us feel significant and valuable. So preaching really isn't that hard. If you can get past the public speaking part, you don't have to be a master of the Bible in order to be a preacher. You don't. In fact, I know lots of masters of the Bible that are terrible preachers. Terrible. Because they never get up and confess their own sin. Ever. They point out sins and flaws of society, sins and flaws of other people, but rarely do they get up and go, prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Take my heart, take and seal it. Seal it for thy courts above. I'm screwed without you. When preachers start talking like that, people feel less alone in this world. I'm not the guy with the answers. I'm the guy who points to the guy with the answers, okay? I'm not that guy. Not that guy. The only reason I'm up here and you're there is because I went to school for this stuff. God gave me the gifts to communicate. That's it. That's the only difference between you and me. We are human beings, all of us, plagued by the same things. I am you and you are me. And so when you can take a deep dive into the dark recesses of your own insecurities and be honest, face that stuff. Face it. Be honest about it. Look at yourself. Take an honest inventory of your heart and your life and go, I am a desperate, needy, selfish, scared human being. And these are the ways in which God's grace meets me at the bottom on the bathroom floor. That is preaching. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't believe what they may have told you otherwise. But this rest, it's the that Jesus offers. It's the freedom to laugh and dance and create. It's the freedom to live. Just live. Take risks. Have fun. Live. Laugh. Enjoy the gifts that God gives us. Friendship, food, good stories, movies, shows, music. You can still push forward, but without the constant burden of striving for something beyond your grasp. That's what wears us out. If ladder climbing is your thing, you'll never reach the top. There's always a higher rung, always. It's exhausting. When you enjoy the rest, you become free to embrace the beauty of life as it is. Messy, imperfect, and full of possibility. The stress doesn't own you anymore. Own you. Frederick Buechner famously wrote, "Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid." That's the restful life. Experiencing the beautiful, the terrible, and everything in between, knowing in your heart that all is ultimately well. That's rest. If you're a parent, spouse, or you just love people in your life, friends, your proclivity to want to control things emerges very quickly. Very quickly. I have to save this person. I'm the father of 3 kids, Gabe, Nate, and Jenna. We have 4 grandchildren. I want to save them all of them. I want to rescue them all. I want to save them all. I want to protect them all. That is an incredibly stressful way to live. It's living in a posture of unbelief. But when you know that this is life, beautiful and terrible things will happen. But ultimately, in my heart, I know all will be well. All will be well. That's the restful life. So, rest. Relax. Breathe. Enjoy the gift. The pressure is off. As it pertains to God, the pressure is off. The sweatshop is closed. You can get off the treadmill now. Go take a nap. Go sit on the beach. Go to a rave in Miami. Do something. Because you can. Everything's been taken care of. You live your life under this banner that reads, "It is finished." You're in.